Quick disclaimer, the series is done on MLB The Show 20 on the PS4. I don't have MLB The Show 21, nor do I have a PS5, so unfortunately I won't have any custom stadiums for the teams. However, I do have custom logos and custom jerseys for all 30 new teams that I'm doing. I'm pretty sure you can convert franchises from old MLB The Show titles to new ones, so maybe I can move to MLB The Show 21 in the future. I'm not too sure yet, but nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoy this. I spent a lot of time working on the teams and all that, so yeah. Also, how could I forget? Huge shout out to Gold Glover 9. I love what he's doing over there with his XBA franchise, and he just kind of inspired me to do the same thing, but in MLB The Show. Okay, let's start. Back in early 2020, there was a lot of tension between the MLB Players Association and the MLB owners and commissioner Rob Manfred. Many people expected that there wouldn't even be a season because the MLB Players Association and owners couldn't officially come to an agreement. In fact, Manfred and the owners constantly tried to paint the players in a bad light. Now, before any of this happened, many fans and even players have been very critical of how Rob Manfred has handled being commissioner of the MLB. And frankly, in recent years, there have been several controversies surrounding the MLB. These include the infamous Astros sign stealing scandal back in 2017, as well as spin rate controversies that, in Trevor Bauer's opinion, have given an unfair advantage to pitchers. The MLB and Rob Manfred have handled these situations very poorly, and the punishments they gave out didn't seem to properly address the bigger issue. On top of this, there have been many rule changes that have been very unpopular, such as having an extra runner on second during extra innings, and holding 7-inning games during doubleheaders. There is good reason why many people consider Rob Manfred to be the worst commissioner in all of sports. Baseball as a whole needs changes. When it seems as if every at-bat either ends in a strikeout or a home run, and that it seems as if pitchers can't even go 6 innings in today's game, something's definitely wrong. Many large market teams have virtually taken control of the MLB, like the Yankees, leaving low market teams with very slim windows to be contenders. Going back to what I was talking about previously, the MLB Players Association and owners/commissioner did end up coming to an agreement, even if it did seem forced. But what if they didn't? What if, instead, the players decided to rise up and create an entire new league based on improving the game of baseball and ending the tyrannical rule of Rob Manfred? Okay, maybe not that far, but you get the point. And so, the Union League Baseball was formed, also called ULB for short. This brand new league focuses on making baseball more appealing and brings fairness to the game of baseball that wasn't previously possible under Rob Manfred. Along with this, players in the minors have been paid more equitably, meaning many players earning higher salaries are sacrificed in order to make sure minor leaguers have fair pay and can live off of their pay. This brand new league includes 30 brand new teams from all across the US, includes teams from Canada and even Mexico, so that's going to be exciting. A fantasy draft has been imposed for these new teams, which should be really good for making baseball as competitive as possible over a 162 game season. This should be a great opportunity for many players, and in fact many players from the KBO have decided to come join the ULB. KBO is in the Korean baseball organization, so a lot of opportunities for players to make a name for themselves with this brand new look for baseball. This was done in MLB The Show 20s and took a lot of time, maybe about a full year to complete all the new teams, logos, and jerseys. And I'm finally excited to say the ULB is ready to get started. Again, all of the new teams are brand new and many have been relocated to areas that previously didn't have a team. Hopefully you guys can find a team you like and root for them as this series goes on. I think that would be really cool to see. Without further ado, let's take a look at these 30 brand new teams. First we have the Montreal Martyrs with the Fleur-de-Lis logo, which is very famous in Montreal. Then we have the Boston Militia, and next the New York Liberty. Their logo is actually based on the WNBA team, the New York Liberty. Then we have the Philadelphia Quakers, and rounding out the AL East is the Toronto Whitecaps with one of the most interesting logos. Also interesting to note, Canada actually has 2 professional teams now, with Toronto here and also Montreal. Here we have the Dallas Vandals. I know it's kind of a janky looking D logo, but I did my best with what MLB The Show offer in terms of logo creator. Also in the AL Central we have the Birmingham Rebels. They are from Alabama, as you can kind of see by the little Alabama flag. This is one I'm really excited about. The Monterrey Prairie Dogs, based out of Mexico. Logo is obviously inspired by GG9's Nebraska State Prairie Dogs. I just recreated it in the show. We got the Nashville Blues. And finally, in the AL Central, we have the New Orleans Rogues. So New Orleans now has a baseball team. We have the Los Angeles Bruins. I'll admit I did not make this logo. This was one of the first teams I made, so shout out to whoever made this logo. We got the Boise Falcons. So Boise, Idaho has a baseball team now. We also got the Salt Lake Pioneers, and we have the San Antonio Express. Based out of Texas, of course. And finally, rounding out the American division, the AL West, we got the Las Vegas Thunderbirds with one of my personal favorite logos. Starting off in the NL East and the National League, we have the Atlanta Storm. We also have the Miami Vice. One of the more unique names in the ULB, we got the DC Diamond Defenders. We also have the Charlotte Motors. They're called the Motors because Charlotte is home to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and Charlotte as a city is heavy on automobiles. We also have the Jacksonville Gators. This logo is inspired on the MLW's Great Lakes Gators. For the NL Central, we have the Chicago Mobsters, who I just realized have very similar colors to the Cubs. Yeah. Also in the NL Central is the Detroit Mallards. Here we have the Green Bay Badgers, and this is also probably one of my personal favorite logos. And we have the electric Pittsburgh Pandas. And rounding out the NL Central is the Cleveland Bullfrogs. The final division, the NL West, first we have the Phoenix Flames. And here we got the Portland Lumberjacks. I know Portland's been wanting a baseball team for a while, and now they got one. We also have the New Mexico Chiles, also one of my favorite names here in the ULB. We also have the Denver Centennials. And the last and final team in the ULB will be the Golden State Miners, based out of San Francisco. And there you go, guys. Those are your 30 ULB teams. Let me know which teams are your favorites, which logos you liked. I'm sorry I didn't spend too much time going in depth about some teams while I spent a lot of time with others. Those are just the ones I felt like commenting on. Besides, we haven't even seen the players for each team yet, and I also need to show you guys the jerseys for each team, so it would be a little hard attaching yourself to a team at the moment. Speaking of the jerseys, I'm planning on showing those off as we take a look at each team's first round picks, kinda like how GG9 did it in the XBA. And alright, so draft time, baby. Probably the best part about this whole thing, we get to see an entire new landscape for baseball. Let's take a look at how the draft will work. The draft was completely randomized, so I had no say in what team picked at what spot. It's also a snake draft, so for those who don't know, basically if you have the last pick in the first round, you get the first pick in the second round, and it shuffles through like that. Every first round draft pick will be signed for 8 years, $175 million. Guys drafted in rounds 2 through 4 get a 5-year deal worth $65 million, and then everyone else drafted above 70 overall or who has at least an A potential gets $12 million for 3 years. Time to reveal the draft order. If you saw the introduction, you may have caught the draft order, but if you didn't, it looks like this. Some notes about the draft order. It looks like the Boise Falcons will be picking first, followed by the Pittsburgh Pandas and the Los Angeles Bruins. Some other ones, Golden State picks 8th, the Cleveland Bullfrogs are slotted at 11th, the Badgers of Green Bay at 12th, the Express, Centennials, Flames, and Storm all pick near the middle of the draft. Las Vegas is picking 19th. New York at 23rd. The Miami Vice pick 28th. Washington, D.C. is picking 29th, and the Chicago Mobsters at 30th. Okay, so here we go. I can't wait to see how the teams will draft because baseball has such a massive pool of professional players. It will be very interesting to see how much, if even at all, teams value hitters over pitchers, how much age will play a factor in selections, and what positions will be selected the most. I think it's about time we find out. Let's go over the draft results for round 1 of the draft. With the first overall pick, the Boise Falcons are going to be rocking with Ronald Acuna, so they choose Acuna over Mike Trout. I personally think this is a good pick because not only is Acuna young, but he is pretty established in the league, so he could be very good for this team. With the second overall pick, Mike Trout will be going to the Pittsburgh Pandas, so no surprise here. Mike Trout, definitely the best player in baseball right now. Yeah, he's just been consistent all his career, and he should be helping this team out day one. With the third overall pick, the Los Angeles Bruins are going to be going with Juan Soto. Juan Soto, the slugger from what was previously the Washington Nationals. He should be really good for this team, simple as that. With the fourth pick in the draft, the Toronto Whitecaps are going to be going with Fernando Tatis. So they picked the exciting young player in Fernando Tatis. I think this is a fantastic pick because he has proved that he can perform at a high level, and he's young, so he can be doing this for many years for this Whitecaps team. With the fifth pick, the New Mexico Chiles are going to go with Mookie Betts, another just solid player. Mookie Betts, arguably the second best player in baseball right now behind Mike Trout. Yeah, he should be doing great things for this Chiles team. The Birmingham Rebels, drafting at number 6, will be taking Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts' teammate in LA. Cody Bellinger, another young player, should be really solid for this team in the near future for sure. With the 7th overall pick, the Monterrey Prairie Dogs are going to go with Christian Yelich. Christian Yelich kinda had a down year last year in 2020, but we know what Christian Yelich can do, and I think the Monterrey Prairie Dogs are really happy getting Christian Yelich right here. The Golden State Miners are going to be going with Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, kind of an interesting pick to me. He's 28 years old, so you're going to be having him for 8 years. Obviously, he's going to be contributing now. This could be a pretty good pick for Golden State here, but could easily backfire on them. The Philadelphia Quakers are picking 9th, and they are going to go with Francisco Lindor. Kind of an underrated pick in my opinion. I feel like Francisco Lindor is quietly one of the best players in baseball right now, but yeah, that's my own personal opinion. We'll see how he does in Philadelphia. Going number 10 to the Mallards, Nolan Arenado. Nolan Arenado, obviously just a perennial all-star. He's going to be very good for this team. We'll just see how he does in Detroit now. Next up at number 11, the Cleveland Bullfrogs are going to be picking Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman, he's gotten a lot of hate the last couple of years, but ultimately the deal is he's just a really good player, no doubt about it. So this is a good pick for the Bullfrogs right here. The Green Bay Badgers, for their pick, they're going to be going with Trey Turner. Also really one of the more underrated players in baseball. Trey Turner, a solid shortstop. Getting him at 12th here for Green Bay is going to be really big, so I think this is a good pick. Next up at 13th, the Salt Lake Pioneers are going to be going with Corey Seager. Corey Seager, another young player. He won the playoffs MVP or the World Series MVP, I can't remember, but obviously if you win one of those, you are obviously really clutch, and at the end of the day he is a really good player. The San Antonio Express are picking 14th, and they're going to be going with Trevor Story. Trevor Story from Colorado, or what was previously Colorado. I think this is a good pick, Trevor Story at 14th. If you see Trevor Story at 14th, I mean, obviously you're going to want to pick him up. So I think the Express are pretty happy getting Trevor Story here. At 15th, the Denver Centennials are going to be rocking with Ozzie Albies. Wow, so this is kind of surprising to me. Ozzie Albies, he's not really on the level of Trevor Story, Trey Turner yet, but I mean, in a couple years, maybe he could be that guy for Denver, and I think that's what they're banking on by picking him 15th. Getting drafted 16th by the Phoenix Flames is going to be Shane Bieber. So the first pitcher is off the board. Shane Bieber is getting picked over guys like Garrett Cole, Jacob deGrom. He's definitely one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. He's also pretty young, so that's going to be very huge for Phoenix. Next up at 17th, the Atlanta Storm are going to be picking Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez, I know he's a great power hitter, and he's been doing great things in Cleveland, and he should be continuing that here in Atlanta. Next up, the second pitcher going off the board, Garrett Cole, is going to be going to the Jacksonville Gators. Garrett Cole, again, just another great pitcher right now. He is 30, but I feel like really good pitchers do go late in their careers. Like Max Scherzer, Chris Sale, guys like them. I feel like Garrett Cole could be like one of those guys, and he should be doing great for this Gators team. Oh, I've been waiting for this one. At 19th, the Las Vegas Thunderbirds are picking Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom will go in the first round. I know a lot of teams would probably be scared to take him for 8 years since he is a little bit older, but I mean, it is what it is. Jacob deGrom is a great pitcher, and I know any team would love to have him, and Vegas takes advantage of it right here. The trend of pitchers continue as the Montreal Martyrs are going to be picking Aaron Nola. This is kind of an interesting pick in my opinion. Aaron Nola, he's obviously a good pitcher, but I wouldn't quite put him on the level as Jacob deGrom and Garrett Cole right now. I know he got picked after them, but I feel like there's guys you'd rather want, and especially in the first round, taking a pitcher is kind of a risky thing, so we'll see how this works out. With the 21st pick, the Boston Militia are going to go with Freddie Freeman, the reigning NL MVP from 2020. This is a really good pick. Getting Freddie Freeman at 21 is obviously really, really good for Boston. They should be extremely happy getting him here. At number 22, the Portland Lumberjacks are going to go with Manny Machado. So Manny Machado, he is a really good player today. He's also 28, so he's a little bit on the older side. I mean, he's not like 22. He's obviously not a rookie, but I think the Lumberjacks are going to be pretty satisfied with this pick. Drafting 23rd, the New York Liberty are going to go with Anthony Rendon. Anthony Rendon, just a couple years back off of his World Series championship with the Nationals. Anthony Rendon is still a good player. I feel like people don't realize that. He's still a fantastic player, a top tier, perennial all-star type of player. The New York Liberty are going to be getting their star third baseman here. This is an interesting one. The Charlotte Motors are drafting 24th, and they're going to pick Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler is a very, very young pitcher, so it looks like they're looking more towards the future compared to right now, but at the end of the day, Walker Buehler is still a good pitcher right now, and being able to lock him up for 8 years is going to be pretty crucial. The Dallas Vandals are drafting 25th, and they pick Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman, I mean, not really much to say about him. He's obviously a great player. I mean, he just lets his game do the talking. He's not really in the spotlight in many ways. He's still a really good player, and so Dallas would love to just have him here. At 26th, the Nashville Blues are going to select Rafael Devers. I think it's really crucial to pick up a young piece early that you can build around, and I think that's what Nashville's doing here, so great pick here. At number 27, the New Orleans Rogues are going to go with Trevor Bauer. Okay, so Trevor Bauer, that's an interesting one. He is 30 years old, so his contract is going to be going until he's 38. So that's going to be kind of interesting to monitor. And yeah, but overall, I don't think it's a bad pick. At number 28, the Miami Vice are going to be picking DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu, a very good, solid batter. He is 32 years of age, so that's going to be really, really tough for Miami to like build around a young piece, as DJ LeMahieu isn't that. So we'll see how they address younger pieces in the later rounds. At 29, the DC Diamond Defenders are going to pick Lucas Giolito, one of the better younger pitchers, already been like consistent for many years, and I think this is just a great pick by them. And rounding out the first round, we got Pete Alonso going to the Chicago Mobsters. Again, this is just another great pick, another young guy who's been pretty established, great solid power bat, and I'm sure they're gonna be able to build around him immediately, so that's gonna be good. And that will do it for round 1 of the draft. I personally think there wasn't a single bad pick, as many teams looked toward the future while others established early that they're looking to win immediately. In order to make sure this video doesn't drag on forever, I'm just going to go over rounds 2 through 4 of the draft quickly, just make some comments on some picks I feel are notable here and there. So far, round 2, Jack Flaherty was the first one off the board, followed by Javi Baez, Zach Gallen, and Bo Bichette, all solid picks right there. Aaron Judge fell to the 7th pick of round 2, which I found surprising. Charlotte's got to be happy with that pick. Yordan Alvarez, a solid young player, previously on Houston, will play for the Las Vegas Thunderbirds. Kind of offsets their previous pick in Jacob deGrom in terms of age difference. Max Scherzer goes 19th, so Green Bay most likely has a win-now mentality drafting the very old Max Scherzer. Kind of the same with Kershaw to the Bullfrogs. Also, Gleyber Torres at 22, Bogarts at 24, Abreu at 26, all seem like massive steals to me. For round 3, we see the young Ian Anderson go to the Bruins, so it seems like they're building for the future. Also, Toronto with Soroka there might be building for the future as well. Not much else, to be honest. You guys can look at how the draft played out here. Whit Merrifield at 18 and Stanton at 21 are steals in my opinion. And the exciting Randy Arozarena heading to Miami. How about that? Finally, for round 4, I see Buxton, who has been going off to start the 2021 season. Kevon Biggio is a good pick there. Also, getting Julio Urias is kind of underrated for Las Vegas, I think. He will be able to contribute for a long time. Ke'Bryan Hayes heads to Denver. Vlad Jr. to the Bullfrogs. My boy, David Fletcher, going to the Rebels. And GG9 might be happy to see Jamer, the Candyman, getting picked in these first 4 rounds. Alright, and that will do it for the draft, at least for the first 4 rounds. Those will be signed to at least a 5-year deal. If you didn't see someone, they will most likely have a 3-year deal for this upcoming season. It's about time we check out these rosters, maybe make some predictions, and begin to get prepared for this exciting new season. I will only be showing the major league lineups, but I'm pretty sure you guys understand it will take a long time to look into every team's minor league system. Next video before the games begin, I can maybe take a look at some of the most highly rated prospects and kind of track their progression throughout the season. But for now, let's check out some rosters. We're gonna start out in the AL East with the Montreal Martyrs, and they're gonna have Hae-Sung Kim as their leadoff, Dansby Swanson, and then Marcell Ozuna, Max Muncy, JD Davis, Omar Narvaez as their catcher. Jock Peterson's gonna be the designated hitter, Tyrone Taylor at center, and then Christian Pache in right. This is their bench right here. Pitching wise, they got Aaron Nola as their ace, Sixto Sanchez, Dustin May, Parker Bridwell, and then Max Schroller, I think. In the bullpen, it looks like they're going to be having Tyler Duffy be their closer, and then Hector Neris as their setup man. 2 solid relievers right there. I think this team should be pretty decent for sure. Next up for the Boston Militia, their leadoff man will be Jonathan VR. Next, they got Ji-Hwan Bae. That's pretty interesting. Batting third will be Freddie Freeman, also playing first base. And then Giancarlo Stanton will be batting fourth, Yoan Moncada fifth. Jed Lowry is batting sixth, who's had a solid start to the 2021 season. Then Reese McGuire will be their catcher. Dalton Varsho will be batting eighth, and then Ian Desmond batting ninth. Their bench will look as such. Pitching wise, they got Danielson Lamet as their ace. They got Dallas Keuchel, Ryan Yarborough, Austin Gomber, and then Yusei Kikuchi. So that's a pretty good starting rotation. And then closing, they got Ken Giles and Drew Pomeranz. So definitely a pretty good pitching staff right here. They should take this team far. Next, we're going to look at the New York Liberty. They got Jake Cronenworth leading off, then Avisel Garcia, Anthony Rendon, Dominic Smith, Salvador Perez will be their catcher. Sungbum Na in right field. Corey Dickerson will be their DH. Joey Votto, and then Ahmed Rosario. So pretty solid starting lineup. This is their bench right here. Alright, their pitching will look like this. They got Brandon Woodruff, Sandy Alcantara, Tristan McKenzie, Adrian Hauser, and then TJ House. And then this is how their bullpen will look. They got Ryan Presley as their closer. So overall, just a pretty good team. I'm not going to make any predictions just yet, but that's a good team right there. Alright, looking at the Philadelphia Quakers, they got Justin Turner leading off, Trent Grisham, and then they got Nelson Cruz, so that's a big pickup right there after the 5th round. They got Francisco Lindor in the 4th spot. They also got Gleyber Torres. They got Josh Bell batting 6th, Christian Vasquez as their catcher, Masataka Yoshida, and then Gavin Lux. So this is a very good, very good starting lineup in my opinion. This is how their bench will look. Even Adam Eaton's pretty good right there. Their pitching, it's going to be Lance Lynn, John Lester, Yanni Chirinos, Frankie Montas, and then Spencer Turnbull. So really good team. Like honestly, this is one of the best teams I've seen so far. Brandon Workman will be their closer. So a great team right here. Now we're going to look at the Toronto Whitecaps. They got Yasiel Puig as their leadoff hitter. And Alec Boehm batting 2nd. Fernando Tatis batting 3rd. Ian Happ's going to bat 4th. Ryan Mountcastle. Then Ketel Marte. Josh Naylor. Jake Marisnik. And then Austin Barnes will be doing the catching. Their bench looks as such. Pitching wise, they got Mike Soroka, Marco Gonzalez, Kevin Gausman, John Gray, and Dietrich Enns. So not too bad. Very solid starting rotation. Ooh, they got Josh Hader closing for him too, and Giovanni Gallegos. So I think this is a very good pitching staff right here. Starting in the AL Central with the Dallas Vandals, we got Angelton Simmons leading off, Kyle Lewis in center. Charlie Blackmon will do the designated hitter duties. We got Mike Jastrzemski in right field, Jesse Winker in left field. We got their star player Matt Chapman, who's batting 6th for some reason, Colin Moran, Hanser Alberto, and then Yadier Molina. This is what their bench will look like. Looks like Gary Sanchez is going to be on the bench, which is kind of funny. Pitching wise, they got Blake Snell, Andrew Heaney, Mike Minor, Joey Lucchesi, and then Davey Garcia. In the bullpen, Joakim Soria will be their closer. Overall, just seems like a good team, pitching and hitting wise. Looking at the Birmingham Rebels, Chris Taylor's going to lead off. Then they got Luis Rengifo, my boy David Fletcher batting 3rd for some reason. We got JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius, Austin Meadows, Cody Bellinger batting 7th. I don't know what these lineups are. This is funny. And then Yoenis Cespedes, and then G-Man Choi. So that's pretty cool. This is what their bench will look like. The pitching rotation, Luis Severino, Alec Mills, Tyler Malley, Trevor Williams, and Kyle Gibson. Ooh, they got Liam Hendricks as their closer. So kind of an interesting team. I don't know what to say about this one so far. They do got Joe Kelly. Heck yeah. All right, let's go for the Monterrey Prairie Dogs. They got D. Gordon. I don't know. I want to say D. Gordon. They got Jemai Jones. Christian Yelich will be batting 3rd. The cleanup will be Franmil Reyes, Xander Bogaerts, Rowdy Tellez, Hunter Dozier, Travis Shaw, and then Tucker Barnhart. This is how their bench will look like. They do got Jason Dominguez. He's like 19 or something. I can't remember. But that's pretty interesting right there. Pitching rotation looks like this. Chris Sale is their ace. Jose Barrios, Ethan Small, Logan Webb, and then Jaime Barria. Their closer will be David Robertson. I do see Mike Myers. He's one of my favorite relievers in baseball right now. For the Nashville Blues, they got Luis Arias as the leadoff hitter. Taryn Vavra? That's interesting. Rafael Devers, Teoscar Hernandez, Brad Miller, Jesus Aguilar, Randall Grichuk, Brett Gardner, and then Alejandro Kirk. This is how their bench will look. Pitching wise, they got Luis Castillo, Jameson Talon, Chris Paddock, Joe Musgrove, and Rick Porcello. So that's a pretty good starting rotation. They also got Sean Doolittle doing the closing duties. They also got Blake Trinan in there. For the New Orleans Rogues, they got Joey Wendell, Tommy Edman, Bo Bichette, Renato Nunez, Byron Buxton, Eddie Rosario, Joey Gallo. Very solid outfield right there. They also got Bobby Bradley and Adley Rutschman. This is how the bench will look. Their ace will be Trevor Bauer. They also got Merrill Kelly, Mike Fulty-Newicks, Mike Keller, and Vicente Campos. Archie Bradley is going to be doing the closing duties. Alright, now we got the Los Angeles Bruins. Leading off, they have Michael Taylor. They also got Starlin Castro, Juan Soto, Eugenio Suarez, Brandon Belt, Alex Dickerson, Chris Carter, Wilson Ramos, and Nico Horner. So pretty good mix of young and old players. Here's their bench right here. Their starting rotation, they got Noah Syndergaard, Framber Valdez, Miles Mikolas, Alex Wood, and Ian Anderson. Wow, that's a solid starting rotation right there. They got Freddie Peralta closing from. For the Boise Falcons, they got Victor Reyes, Brian Reynolds, Ronald Acuna Jr. They also got Brandon Lau, Mitch Moreland, Jaime Candelario, Willie Castro, David Bodie, and then Jorge Alfaro as their catcher. This is their bench right here. Pitching wise, they got Zach Plesac, Patrick Corbin, David Price, Kohei Arihara, and Carlos Rodon. So that's a pretty good starting rotation as well. Nick Anderson's going to be their closer. Taking a look at the Salt Lake Pioneers, they got Andrew Benintendi, Jason Kipnis, Corey Seager, Nick Castellanos. They also got Wilson Contreras, Keston Hura, AJ Pollock, Ramon Laureano, and then Rio Ruiz. And then this is their bench. It looks like one of the better benches I've seen so far. Alright, the Pioneers pitching staff. They got Corbin Burns, Charlie Morton, Dakota Hudson, John Means, who threw a no-hitter a couple days ago, and then Alex Young. Luke Jackson's going to be their closer. That's interesting. Alright, the San Antonio Express got Starling Marte, Carlos Asuaje, I don't know how to say that one. They got Donovan Solano in the 3 spot, and then Trevor Story, Adam Duvall, Reese Hoskins, Michael Chavis, Christian Villanueva, and then Maibris Villoria. This is their bench. Alright, the starting rotation, they got Max Fried, Zach Greinke, German Marquez, Scott Kazmir, and Joey Wentz. Brad Hand will be doing the closing duties. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And then for the Las Vegas Thunderbirds, they got Malik Smith. They also got Cesar Hernandez, Yordan Alvarez, Robinson Cano, David Peralta, CJ Crone, Andrew McCutcheon, Carter Kieboom, and then Mike Zunino. This will be the Thunderbirds bench. It looks like they got Adalberto Mondesi on the bench. I mean, I guess maybe you want to get your young guy starting in Carter Kieboom. Pitching wise, they not only do they got Jacob deGrom, but they also got Julio Urias, which is really nice. They also got Adam Wainwright, Carlos Martinez, and Jose Quintana. Jose Leclerc is going to be their closer for them. Again, I'll do some predictions after we look at all the rosters. Alright, on to the National League side. We got the Atlanta Storm here. Leading off, they got Manuel Margot. Then they got Chase Strumpf, Paul Goldschmidt, Jose Ramirez, Max Kepler. They got Justin Bauer, Carlos Correa, Nick Williams, and Zach Collins. Kind of an interesting lineup. Here's their bench right here. Alright, pitching for the Atlanta Storm, they got Sonny Gray as their ace. They also got Zach Davies, Johnny Cueto, Zach Eflin, and AJ Pook. Edwin Diaz will be their closer. They also got Will Harrison there. And Amir Garrett, hey. Okay, looking at the Miami Vice, they're going to go with Randy Arozarena in the leadoff spot. They also got Nick Ahmed. DJ LeMahieu will be batting third, and then they also got JD Martinez at DH, Miguel Andujar, Cole Calhoun, Roberto Ramos, Brian Goodwin, and then Yasmani Grandal will be their catcher. This is how their bench will look to start the season. Looking at their pitching, they got Zach Gallen as their ace. They also got Lance McCullers, Jake Odorizzi, Jordan Montgomery, and then Garrett Richards. So that's a pretty solid overall team right there. They also got Brandon Morrow closing from. Moving on to the DC Diamond Defenders, they're going to have Javi Baez lead off for them. They got Miles Straw. They also got Kyle Seager, Miguel Sano, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Austin Slater. They got Marcus Simeon batting 7th, which will probably change at some point. And then they also got Phillip Ervin, and Alex Avila will be their catcher. This is their bench to start the season. Alright, looking at the pitching rotation, they got Lucas Giolito, Mike Clevenger, so that's a good 1-2 punch. They also got Rich Hill, Zach Godley, and Griffin Canning. Closing will be J.B. Wendelkin, I think. Alright, here we got the Charlotte Motors. Leading off is Haruki Nishikawa. They also got Miguel Rojas. They got Aaron Judge, Anthony Rizzo, Hyun-Soo Kim, Sean Murphy. They got Kavan Biggio in there, Alex Kirilkov, and Garrett Hampson. Ooh, that was kind of tough. Alright, this is their bench right here. Taking a look at the Charlotte Motors pitching staff, they got Seth Lugo as their ace. They also got Walker Buehler. Wait, okay, Walker Buehler's not their ace. Chad Kuhl, Sean Newcomb, and Taylor Jungmann. Their closer will be Emilio Pagan. Alright, now we got the Jacksonville Gators. They got Whit Merrifield, Tommy LaStella, Luke Voigt. They also got Dylan Moore, Paul DeJong, Anthony Santander, Aaron Hicks, Josh Reddick, and then Davey Grulion. Here's their bench. They got Victor Robles on the bench. What is this? I mean, maybe if you want to get the older guy in Aaron Hicks starting first, but like he's an 85 overall. Oh man, these rosters are something else. Alright, their pitching staff. They got Garrett Cole, Luis Perdermo, Tarek Skubal, Mackenzie Gore, and then Tuki Toussaint. Corey Knebel will be their closer. I mean, not a bad team other than the Victor Robles thing. Alright, the Chicago Mobsters got Colton Wong, J.P. Crawford, Michael Brantley, Pete Alonso, Josh Donaldson, Will Smith will be their catcher. They got Christian Walker, Harold Ramirez, and then Steven Piscotty. This is how their bench will look to start the season. Alright, pitching for the Mobsters, they got Jack Flaherty and Hyun-Jun Ryu, and Pablo Lopez, that's pretty good. Kwon Hyun Kim, and then Luke Weaver. That's a solid starting rotation. Closing will be Tommy Canley. On to the Detroit Mallards, they got Tommy Pham leading off. They also got Gene Segura, Alex Verdugo, and then Jorge Soler. Austin Nola's in there, Nolan Arenado, batting 6 for some reason. They also got Mitch Haniger, Garrett Cooper, and then Charlie Culberson. This is their bench. They got Matt Olson on the bench. I don't know what's going on. They also got Wander Franco. I mean, that's 2 solid guys on the bench right there. Oh man. Alright, pitching, they got Kenta Maeda. They also got Cole Hamels. They also got Takahiro Norimoto, who I think was from the KBO. Martin Willis Jr. and then Nate Pearson. Closing will be Kirby Yates. Now we got the Green Bay Badgers. They got Jared Walsh leading off. They also got Jason Hayward, Trey Turner, George Springer, Clint Frazier, Mike Moustakis, Mark Cannon will be their DH. They also got Austin Riley and then Buster Posey. This is how their bench will look. The Badgers pitchers, they got Max Scherzer. They also got Dylan Bundy, so that's a good starting 2 pitchers. They also got Danny Duffy, Trevor Richards, and then Domingo Herman. Will Smith will be their closer. They also got Trevor May, Tyler Clippard, Brad Peacock. That's a pretty solid pitching staff. Alright, we got the Pittsburgh Pandas up. We got Jose Iglesias, Taylor Ward at DH, the man himself, Mike Trout, batting 3rd. Also got Michael Conforto, Eric Hosmer's in there, playing first base. They got Jake Cave in left. Jan Gomes will be their catcher, Johan Camargo, and then they got Alan Hansen. This is their bench right here. Pitching, they got Steven Strasburg, Sean Manaea, J.A. Happ, Kodai Senga, and Tanner Roark. And then Roberto Ozuna is going to be closing for him. They also got Tony Gonsolin. I think he's a good ad as well. Cleveland Bullfrogs, they got Kevin Newman, Ezequiel Carrera, I have no idea who that is, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Gerardo Parra. Dang, I didn't even think he was in the league anymore. Dylan Carlson, Max Stassi, and then Gerardi Valspin. That's a weird lineup. They got some really good players and then also some really bad ones. This is their pitching staff. They got Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander, Marcus Stroman, Antonio Sanzatella, and Chris Bassett. So, I mean, this team could potentially win now, but it's a weird looking team. We'll see. They got Darren O'Day closing for them. Alright, on to the NL West. The Phoenix Flames got Eric Gonzalez, Brandon Nimmo, Jeff McNeil, Eloy Jimenez, Gio Urshela, Travis d'Arnaud, Shohei Ohtani, that's a great pickup. Bobby Dahlbeck, and then Scooter Gennett. Here is how their bench will look to start the season. Alright, pitching, they got Ace Shane Bieber, James Paxton, Eduardo Rodriguez, Jeff Samardzija, and then Jesus Luzardo. They got Kenley Jansen closing for them. Pretty good. Taking a look at the Portland Lumberjacks, they got Robbie Grossman, Nick Solak, Manny Machado, Tim Anderson, Will Myers, Pedro Severino, Daniel Vogelbach, Evan Longoria, and then Cole Reeder. I'm sorry, I don't know. Here's their bench. Alright, starting for the Lumberjacks, they got Corey Kluber, Brad Keller, Zach Wheeler, Drew Smiley, and then Jared Eekhoff. They got Yimi Garcia closing for them. Next up is the New Mexico Chiles. They got Yero Munoz, Kevin Kiermaier, Mookie Betts, Jose Abreu, Jonathan Scope, Wilmer Flores, James McCann, Brandon Crawford, and then Chris Bryant. Not too bad at all. Here is their bench. Alright, starting rotation for the Chiles. Kyle Hendricks, Jordan Yamamoto, Felix Hernandez, Adbert Alzolay, and then Daniel Ponce de Leon. Closing will be Trevor Rosenthal. They also got Devin Williams in there. That's pretty good right there. Okay, on to the Denver Centennials. They got Geraldo Perdomo, Yandy Diaz, Ozzy Albies, Mitch Garver, Trey Mancini, David Dahl, Luis Robert, Ke'Bryan Hayes, and Tetsudo Yamada. That seems like a very young team, overall wise. Here's their bench. Hey, they got Brett Phillips. Nice. The pitchers for the Centennials got they got Tyler Glasnow, Carlos Carrasco, Chris Archer, Brady Singer, and then David Peterson. They got Aroldis Chapman closing for him. That's pretty good. Alright, final team, Golden State Miners. They got Raimel Tapia, Willie Adames, Bryce Harper, Jed Jerko. Dang, I haven't heard that name in a while. They also got Jose Altuve, Adam Jones, that's another name I haven't heard in a while. Brian Anderson, Bradley Zimmer, and then Ronaldo Hernandez. The bench for the Miners is right here. Pitching for the Golden State Miners, they got Yu Darvish, Aaron Savale, Randy Dobnak, Mike Montgomery, and then Nick Pivetta. Closing will be Raisel Iglesias. Hey, they got Brusdar Graterol. I just remember him from last year in the World Series. He was just absolutely electric. Woo, that was fun. Looking at all the new rosters, I just can't wait to get this thing started. I just couldn't start the season itself without making some predictions though, could I? Of course not. I'll start in the American League and try to guess which team will win each division, and I'll give my reasoning why as well. Who do I think will come out of the AL East? Well, at least based on initial reactions, I was really impressed with how the Philadelphia Quakers drafted their starting lineup. I mean, every single starter. It just seems like as if any given one of them could go off on any given day. Pitching wise, I really thought the Boston Militia had built a great rotation. I mean, when you say Kikuchi is your worst pitcher, I think you're in a great spot. The Whitecaps, Martyrs, and Liberty aren't too bad either, but I mean, the obvious pick is the Quakers for me. Like Justin Turner, Trent Grisham, Nelson Cruz, Lindor, Glaber. I mean, who can consistently get those guys out? The only downside on this team is the really only young guy they have is Gavin Lux, but you know, that shouldn't really be a huge problem. Lance Lynn is also a quality starter for them, and their bullpen isn't half bad either, so I got the Quakers winning the AL East. Looking at the Central, what do we got? I see the Dallas Vandals. They have a pretty quality lineup. Rebels are good too, but I feel like they have a lot of guys that are inconsistent. Their starting rotation is also pretty subpar. You see, I want to see the Prairie Dogs be good, right? But it just seems like they have too many guys who have either fell off or just aren't established enough yet. I know Yelich is good, right? I know Bogarts is good. I don't think that's enough. I think their future looks very bright though, with Jason Dominguez leading the pack. Nashville Blues, kind of the same thing, not a lot of star power. I do like their pitching rotation though, so maybe I might pick them. I'm not really feeling the Rogues either, though their outfield is insanely good. And they got a young infield as well. Ultimately, I think I'm going to have to go with the Dallas Vandals here. Yeah, I think even without many stars beside Matt Chapman, I think they can get it done. Like guys like Kyle Lewis, Yastrzemski, Winker, those are guys who solidify that lineup, and with Blake Snell leading the pitching staff, I think they have a great chance to win the division. Okay, the AL West. I'll say this because personally, this might be the most competitive division in the ULB. Looks like the Thunderbirds have the best pitching staff, but beside Yordan Alvarez, I just don't think their lineup is that good. Like, if Alvarez isn't playing up to his standards, or if the pitchers aren't having a good day, I can't see them winning. Dang, this is a hard one, but looking at the rosters now, you know what? No, actually, yeah, I'm going to go with the Boise Falcons. I was really tempted to go with the Salt Lake Pioneers. Like, it really could go either way between them. They both have a good mix of pitching and hitting, but I think Boise edges them in pitching just a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if Salt Lake makes a run, or even San Antonio. Alright, checking out the NL East, I must say this is probably my favorite division in terms of logos and jerseys. I really think each team has a special and unique identity. Anyways, to win the division, I'm not going to go with the Storm. I think they have some bona fide great players, but also some bona fide scrubs starting. I feel like DC can be hit or miss, so I'm going to stay away from them. Jacksonville, again, a team I feel they just don't have enough star power. Charlotte is very, very enticing as a choice as well, but you can't go wrong with Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo. Walker Buehler and Lugo are great pitchers. I just don't think overall that team is just as good as the team I'm about to mention, which is the Miami Vice. You can call me crazy all you want, but I think they're better than you might think. When you saw the team the first time around, you may have thought the pitching rotation wasn't all that good, but seriously, Zach Gallen has the potential to be an all-star sooner rather than later. Lance McCullers is young and really has an opportunity to prove himself. And then Odorizzi is good too, and with a decent bench and a lineup featuring Arozarena, LeMahieu, Martinez, Grandal, and even guys like Miguel Andujar who can really prove themselves, I think this team could go a long way, guys. I think there's a lot of good teams in the NL Central. Again, one of the more balanced divisions in the ULB. I can't go wrong with picking Trout and the Pittsburgh Pandas, but being completely honest, I'm just not feeling that team, man. As much as I want to see him succeed, the team around him just doesn't seem all that great. The pitching staff's okay, but it isn't one that's going to dominate. Cleveland could be good, but right now they just don't have much in that lineup beside Bregman, Kyle Tucker, and Vladdy Jr. The Mallards, Mobsters, and Badgers all have lineups similar in skill, so I think this is going to come down to the pitching staff, and the best pitching staff out of those three has to be the Mobsters. The Badgers are super close with Scherzer and Bundy, and they have a solid bullpen. I just like Chicago's pitching more, with starters in Jack Flaherty, Hyunjin Ryu, and Pablo Lopez, and Tommy Kahnle closing. I don't think they're going to lose as much as those other teams over a 162 game season. Finally, in the NL West, I'm saying the Miners are out right now. Sorry if any of you are Miners fans, but I'm not feeling a good vibe from their lineups. I really want to pick New Mexico. They got a fantastic starting lineup, but their starting rotation is so awful. I mean, beside Kyle Hendricks, the rest of them are below 80 overall. I think the Denver Centennials will be the team to beat in the future with Albies, Cabrian Hayes, Luis Robert, Tyler Glasnow, but they won't be too good right now. It's down to the Portland Lumberjacks and Phoenix Flames, and I mean, plain and simple, Phoenix has the better team overall. Here's the problem with Portland to me. They're going to have to rely on Machado and Tim Anderson. Right? Their pitching, while it's not bad by any means, it comes down to the personal opinion. I think Phoenix beats them there. The thing that sets the Flames apart from the Lumberjacks is the fact that the Flames have established, solid supporting role players. I'm not going to list off their entire starting lineup, you can go back and check if you want, but seriously, and I know they don't have that bona fide star that I've been talking about, but come on, their lineup is just so solid throughout. They also have Shane Bieber, so you can't go wrong with that. Oh man, if I had to go as far as predicting the American and National League champions of each division, I would personally go with the Philadelphia Quakers for the American League, and then probably the Phoenix Flames for the National League. But at the end of the day, it's really just a shot in the dark. Like, who really knows what teams will succeed and which won't? Alright guys, that'll do it. If you guys have any predictions yourself, don't be afraid to comment them. I would love to hear them, like for real. Other than that, man, that'll do it for this video. In the next week or so, we'll have the opening day games. I'm planning on recording 5 of them and then simulating the rest. If there's any particular team you guys would like to see play, let me know, and for sure, I'll record their games as much as I can. For now, the opening day slate of games will be the Chicago Mobsters at the Green Bay Badgers, the San Antonio Express at the Salt Lake Pioneers, the Boston Militia at the Toronto Whitecaps, Pittsburgh Pandas at the Philadelphia Quakers, and then the Atlanta Storm at the Phoenix Flames. Absolutely can't wait to get this thing started, and if you guys watch this video all the way through, I truly appreciate it. Don't want to be that guy, but these videos take a ton of time to make, so if you guys enjoyed it, I would appreciate if you guys considered subscribing and liking the video. That would mean so much to me. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night, and I'll see you all in the next video for opening day. Peace.